that's a young man, 12 years old. Like, are you kidding me? The kid's racing quarter midgets right now and lighting the world on fire. And now he is coming and racing with all of these guys that are 2, 3, and 4 times his age and holding his own. He won a heat race last night. And you got to believe that, you know, a young man like that and so many more young men and women and you know, not just younger drivers, but, you know, drivers, you know, of all ages. If you can, you know, certainly there's no way to truly simulate that feeling in your backside of sitting in a race car and you know, gathering all those skills that you need to be competitive on the racetrack. But you got to believe that this is a huge, you know, stepping stone for a lot of young drivers. And, you know, I think Tanner's a perfect example of that on our Monday Night League. And, you know, I know there's going to be a lot more stories like that. And then your second point about the announcing side, I got to be honest with you, that's one big, huge plus of Brad and I being able to do this is, you know, we are treating this just like a Saturday night at the racetrack. This past season was super intimidating for me. I mean, I've been announcing at Outlaw Speedway, Woodhall Raceway for a few years, and you know, to go to a legendary place like Canandaigua, I was so intimidated walking in that place because this is where Gary Montgomery got his chops. This is where Shane Andrews became Shane Andrews. You know, and so for me, I was so overwhelmed this year. You know, I still felt like I did a pretty good job, but I know that there's so many things that I can improve on. And this iRacing stuff with 3-9 streaming and Turn 5 me, I mean, just working with you guys. I mean, honestly, and I'm not, you know, blowing sunshine up your guys' backsides, but honestly, you know, back 2013, 2014, you know, a young guy just getting into the media side of racing was watching a guy like Adam Ross and a guy like Clinton Jeffrey that were just lighting it up at Super Dirt Week on the media coverage. Just to get a chance to work with you guys, you know, is really just an awesome opportunity. And like you said, this is a great way for us to kind of hone our program when we get ready to go back racing in April, May.
There's not much originality in race broadcasting, and I don't mean that as a knock. So you might have watched us. We would have watched Shane Andrews. I grew up listening to, oh my God, Jack Burgess. You know, everyone has things that they take. I want to sound like this. I want to talk like this. As I said before, so if you bring the passion, you're going to be A-okay. That's my opinion, Clint.
Agreed. Steven, we got to let you get going because we know you have to get ready for tonight's Rivalz Elite Pro Division. Who's been the standout or what's been the surprise from any side, not necessarily driver, but in closing, what's your thoughts as you leave and why should people be tuning in to watch these Elite Pro races?
Well, we're getting ready to go to the Volusia Speedway Park tonight. Alex Bergeron has won 2 out of the first 4. That's certainly been a story because, you know, he is, you know, the iRacing Dirt World Champion on the sprint car side. But there's a name that I'm going to throw out tonight, and the reason you should watch tonight, Brandon Schultz has been a huge surprise. He is a guy who worked his way all the way through the Ohsweken Outlaws ladder system to qualify to be able to run with the Elite Pro Series. And last week, he was about 100 foot short of pulling off one of the biggest upsets we've seen all season. Brandon Schultz has been on fire, and I think he's going to be entertaining to watch tonight.
Great call. I agree with that because watching last week's race was absolutely fantastic. Steven, have a ton of fun tonight. We know that you do. We can tell it when we listen, and we're going to be watching.
Hey man, if I'm nothing else, you know, I've got a face for radio, and I have a good time. So what can I say? If you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
Thanks a lot. That's Steven Ovens, voice of the Rivalz Elite Pro and a lot of other iRacing series. You can catch him out through Turn 5 Media and 3-9 Streaming. Did I get those backwards? Did I get those right, Adam? Either way, him and his brother Brad do a 3-9 Streaming. Him and his brother Brad do an awesome job with the broadcasts. And it's funny, I see Doug Leonard chime in here, or just he tuned in, he's watching, and we had to send out a call to Doug this week, and damn it, that should have been our Burger Barn video of the week. Why weren't we thinking that? So Cody Olson, the race director for the Rivalz Elite Pro, sent out a call, and it was an interesting call. Well, maybe see if we can get it off to Spencer, and don't know if he can do anything with it. Probably too late tonight, but I think it was so cool that to be able to call Doug in and say, hey, this is something that happened in the Rivalz Elite. Should it be a call? Should it be a post-race penalty? What are your thoughts? And it was basically a driver hit the inside berm.
Well, let's try to get that. Let's try to get that for the Burger Barn video of the week. We'll have to go through the messages because I think it is a great conversation because I watched and listened to Cody Olson and Doug Leonard go back and forth, more so than what you put in, more so than what I put in, because it's interesting to watch someone who only officiates iRaces compare notes, talk shop with someone who only officiates outdoor races. And there were a couple of things, there were a couple of conclusions that I drew in the end to say, you know what, this opens my eyes to this. Maybe we need to change our procedures and go this way because there are certain differences with iRacing that don't exist in outdoor racing. And those differences are real. And I think it's important for us to recognize that and to set proper rules, proper expectations for the drivers and what they are allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do, and what we should expect of them to be able to do.
I just went back through the messages and sent the video to Spencer. So Spencer, I don't know if you're able to do anything with that. Let us know. Even if it comes up in a little bit, just let us know if you figure you can handle that. Just want a quick mention, Adam, next week we're going to start the iRacing pools on Victory Games. So Victory Games is excited to announce that iRacing pools will now be live for next week's Rivalz Elite Pro division, starting right now for next Tuesday, November 26th at Lanier Raceway. Check them out. It's also a flash sale going on at Victory Games with a Z. That's victorygameswithaz.com. Flash sale for those who tune in the broadcast. If you sign up on victorygames.com with the code ELITE, you get an additional $20 in free bonus funds to make your picks for next week. First-time depositors will also get 500% deposit bonus, and email money transfer is also available. That's the fastest and most secure way to play. That's victorygameswithaz.com. Use promo code ELITE for additional $20 in free bonus funds to make your picks for next week Rivalz Elite Pro Division. So, Adam, how exciting is that we will now have gaming going on the iRacing platform? It's kind of all coming together. You know, we've been talking about it and thinking about it for a while.
Should we give the full disclosure of how this came about, Clint?
But yeah, okay.
Our iRacing seasons were created to support Victory Games' desire to create products that were geared specifically to motorsports. And the question was, look, we love what's going on at Ohsweken Speedway May to September. What can we do to go year round? And it worked perfectly with the vision you and I have of having an audience that can congregate year round through the winter and through the summer. It just took a lot longer for it to develop than we thought it would. So we went ahead and developed these leagues, created these broadcasts, and we've had all sorts of fun, and we've had more interest, I think, than you or I even anticipated. The reason 100%. We did it was because and no money, like there was no money handed to us to say, go and do this. We're here for you. All it was opportunity. So now it's starting to come together. What we had visualized, we're more than a year behind, but the series have been so much fun that we've created them. We're now Mondays and Tuesday nights. Starting in January, we're going to be Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesday nights. And Victory Games is excited about what's going on. We're excited about what's going on. But it's fascinating sometimes how these programs come together and why we build the things that we build. Sometimes you do something for one reason and wind up really enjoying it because of something completely different.
That reminds me, one of the notes I have on the board here beside me, Adam, is it says Talladega night Wednesday. So what's going on with Talladega and Wednesday night? What's the time there? What do people who want to get involved need to know about Wednesday and Talladega?
Listen, if you're an iRacer, come race Xfinity with us tomorrow night at Talladega. I ran in the practice race Sunday night with the absolute stock setup from iRacing, and I was a contender at the front of the field. So come out and have some fun. It'll be in league session, so you've got to join the Rivalz League on iRacing, the Xfinity League, so the Rivalz Asphalt League. Come out and race tomorrow night. Practice is at 7:30. The race is at 8:30. You will have a lot of fun. Restrictor plate race is just what you would expect it is. A lot of looking in your mirror, a lot of trying to keep off people's fenders, and an awful lot of fun.
So how long would a race like that take, Adam? Like, I understand how the short sprint car events go, but like how long of a race is that if it goes green at 8:30? What time you figure the checkers would fly? What type of a time commitment, I guess, as someone who's not racing, but I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think, man, I told you I want to race that. I would kill to find a rig to get over there one of these weeks and go for it. I'm just wondering what type of time commitment would I need? 7:30 to 10:30?
Yeah, right now that's what it's set up as realistically. When we take over in January, the races are going to be shortened significantly because we would like to start the race at, say, 8:45 and have you done by before 10 o'clock. So that's the goal. Plus, we're going to be broadcasting them in the new year. So we want to tighten things up just a little bit. Before we chat about this too long, I understand we've got Scott Simmons, but we don't have video for him. So maybe if we can bring him in audio, we can see if we can add some video. I don't know if we can do that, Spencer, or can we? Because I really want to talk to him. Scott Simmons, can you hear us? Hey, Scott, you got us? This is like those Pace Lap interviews they do from the Fox booth.
I was just thinking that. Hey, this is D-Dub in the booth. Hello?
So,
all right. Well, Adam, hang on. Spence, you keep talking to him. Tell him to talk when you got him. We'll stop in the middle.
Oh, he just logged back in. I can see that on the side. So give him a minute. But here's what's exciting. Scott Simmons is a young man whose family is here in Cambridge, Ontario. His grandfather is Merv Colling, former sprint car racer, hobby car racer from the Ontario region. Scott worked at Klotz Auto, in fact, Clinton. I don't know if you knew this, but he did his apprenticeship with Klotz Auto, got the opportunity to go down and work for Furniture Row Racing. So he moved to Denver, Colorado, and had a great time. Loved Colorado. Like a lot of the guys on that team, was heartbroken when it got shut down, but everyone was basically placed in different areas. He got a job as the tire specialist on the Denny Hamlin number 11 Toyota, and that's where he's been. So he's relocated over to North Carolina. He's enjoying himself at Joe Gibbs Racing. Scott, do we have you on the line now? Perfect.
All right, well, let's jump around since we lost Scott again. We'll get back to him. Let's keep the show moving. Burger Barn video of the week, Spencer. If you're ready to go with that video, I'll throw the read up. We'll give you a second to get ready, and we'll drop our Burger Barn video of the week. It's the world famous Burger Barn video. It would be the iRacing video. You got it? World famous Burger Barn located in Six Nations, Ontario, destination for relaxed dining and comfortable family atmosphere. Bring the whole family and experience the down-home cooking for yourself. You'll never forget your first time, and we're sure you'll be back for more. All this at reasonable prices, making Burger Barn the perfect place for any occasion. If you can't stop in, no worries, call ahead for takeout. And don't forget, Burger Barn gift cards available in any denomination from $2 to $200. A perfect gift for Christmas. With that, and while you're there, don't forget to fill up at their brand new Petrol Plus fuel station located on the property. Spencer, were you able to get that video up? It's so this is the video, Adam. So take it from here. Now start it over, Adam. You can commentate.
So the challenge is who has the line. And at first glance, you say, well, the car on the inside has the line. But the car on the inside is doing the overtaking. The car on the outside, if he's not using a VR headset, and if he's not using triple monitors, he wouldn't see the car on the inside until he actually turned his car to the left into the corner. And by that time, he's eating the right rear of the car on the inside. So Doug Leonard says, well, the car on the inside has the line going into the turn. Then we had the conversation of your line of sight. So to take it, do you mind if I give the long explanation, Clint?
Well, you screwed up the whole thing already. So
That's a different clip. That's a different clip than I think you thought we were watching. That's not the inside berm clip.
okay, then maybe you're correct, and I've shipped off the wrong video. So this must be the second
did-
one. Thought we were talking about the inside
Yeah.
berm video.
Where the
Okay.
car gets up on the berm, slides. So yeah. So
Then
let's
you
talk
analyze
about
this one, and I'll get him the other one.
You look for the other. The challenge here is, in our league, we don't let the drivers run mirrors because sprint cars don't have mirrors. But what sprint cars do have is a driver sitting in the cockpit that can see fully to the left and fully to the right through peripheral vision, which you can't really do in the simulation unless you have a triple monitor or a VR headset. So it almost made me think we need to allow rear view mirrors so a driver has more situational awareness of what's around him, because the car on the outside wouldn't have made that turn into the corner on the car on the inside if he had a mirror and knew, hey, someone's right there. You'd never consider in sprint car racing outdoors, oh, these guys should be able to run mirrors so they know what's around.
Yeah, I don't know, Spencer. Let me know if you get that other clip. Either way, we can get back to that. So, do we got Alex on the line? Still waiting for him to show up as well. Okay, so Adam, we'll move on right down. Wait for these guys to chime in. Spencer's working on the other video as we're really making him work hard tonight. Is this the other one, Spencer?
This is
okay,
the other
this
one.
is the one. So this is the one that I originally thought we were talking about here. So when you watch it here, the car on the left, so the car on the inside, the question was, should it be a penalty? He hits the inside berm. And should it be a lack of car control? And it opened up quite the spirited debate. Adam, what are your thoughts quickly on that?
My thoughts as I look at now is it might have been what's called net code. Watch him slide up the track. There's really no contact. Like his right rear is where the left sidebar would be on the car on the outside, but they really don't make contact that should have left the car on the outside spinning out. But my thought is you have to be able to control your car. You get up on the berm, you slide across the racetrack. You have the right to one or two lanes, but I think ultimately the car on the outside has to see what's going on and be able to avoid the car on the inside should something happen. So these are the gray areas that you would not have in outdoor racing. And Clint, you want to know why? Because in outdoor racing, one or both of those cars would have been destroyed. They would have flipped off the outside of turn number 2. And as the driver climbs out and dusts themselves off and think, holy shit, that really hurt, they're going to think about how not to do that again. With iRacing, you just hit the reset button and start over again. So it's a different level of commitment and a different consequence, just like training your pet. There has to be a consequence from their pet.
When we brought Doug in, he said, do you really need a call? Because they're both going to the back anyways, which is a good call. But in our league, there are basically assessed penalties and penalty strikes to keep the guys in line, as you said, because it's so easy to just press reset and wreck someone's night if you don't really care or are as committed or having a bit of a freak out on a night that, they're having a good night, you're having a bad night, go ahead and wreck it. There is issues with those. So what do you want to talk about now, Adam?
Well, Scott Simmons is just going to try to fire up the link in Firefox. He can get in, but he can't hear what we're saying. So he's no quitter. I like his tenacity, Clinton.
Excited to be on the program. That's always good. So I've lost my rundown. Spencer messing with the screen here, or did I do something?
Spencer zoomed in.
Okay,
hey, we're the Rivals.
Hey,
we're the dual airbags. The rundown is whatever we want it to be. Let's talk about the NASCAR Championship weekend.
Okay.
You want to know what I did that makes me a complete idiot?
What's that?
I heard that the truck race got rained out Friday night, so I didn't bother trying to watch it. I went on to other things.
No way.
Are you kidding me? The one race that I really wanted to see, and I didn't get a chance to see it. But let's Matt Crafton, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch. 3 champions?
Yes.
3 deserving champions?
Well, I mean, of course, you got to throw the caveat out there. Of course, they're at the top level. They've achieved the championship under the format that they've been given, right? So kudos to them. The question becomes then, is it the right format? Did the right drivers win? You brought up something today. Kyle Busch having a crappy second half of the season, but in the old format, he would still probably be the points champion. Matt Crafton didn't win a race all year, kept his chances alive, and basically was the survivor on Friday night in a race that didn't have many yellows, so there wasn't a lot of shakeup. Did you get to watch the race in hindsight, Adam, after, or did you just
The
totally not
trucks
see
or
any of it yet? Yeah, the trucks.
Trucks, I saw nothing. Saw nothing.
Okay. So they had a lot of long green flag runs at the end and not a lot of shakeup. So it was kind of almost like things were on Sunday where it just kind of went away over time and nobody could really do anything. There wasn't a lot of shakeups. And what are your thoughts on Crafton as the champion?
My thoughts are, I've been critical of NASCAR. I believe a champion has to earn it over the course of a full season. Having said that, the changes they made with stage racing and the bonus points, I think they hit a home run. They made things interesting right to the end. So even if I don't agree with the overall format, I agree with how they did it. I agree with them doing it over all three of the premier divisions. And I thought the storylines going into the last weekend, this was the most compelling championship weekend that I have ever seen with NASCAR.
I'd agree. There's a lot of storylines. I think when you take anybody's kind of an open format with the last four, that it's anybody's race, whoever beats who is going to be the champion. I don't think I really like that because, you have a result that you had on Friday where the fourth place guy wins when he shouldn't really, have that opportunity in my eyes. But I think when you look back to it, there's so many other ways things could have went. And we'll talk about it a bit more, but it looks like we've got Scott with us now. Can you hear us, Scott?
Yeah.
We're so close, Adam.
So close.
Scott, you there?
Scott, you got a copy of either of us?
All right, you keep working on him, Spencer. We can see him now. We got our last two around him. He's close.
Yeah, we're getting warmer. So he did what he had to do. And what's interesting to me, and this, how Vince McMahon has that list of terms you're not supposed to use? You know how he had those lists for his announcers? Every announcer in the world, myself included, has to get rid of what's interesting to me, or this is interesting. Well, if it wasn't interesting, you wouldn't frickin' say it, so lose it from your vocabulary. But what was interesting to me from the weekend, Stuart Friesen qualified on the pole, right? Denny Hamlin qualified on the pole. The cars that had that blazing speed early on weren't the ones that were able to get it done. So I think sometimes, Clinton, being a savvy veteran does need to pay off. And Matt Crafton, with the system that was in place, had the best run of any of the four drivers that were eligible for that championship. So you have to have different storylines every year so it's not predictable. Otherwise, the format is a farce. So the fact that Matt Crafton won, to me, means the format is not a farce.
Yeah, a lot of people still aren't in favor of the stages. I personally, I like that. I like knowing the caution's coming, shake it up. We've had some boring races in the past where they've gone green to checker for a long time and nothing happens, and a guy gets way, way, way out in front, and it's horrible to watch. It's even worse to be stuck announcing those type of events. So, that can be tough, Adam.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, did you imagine on Sunday there would be no caution? I thought for sure they would find a reason to have a caution. Like there had to be
Friday.
something.
We're watching the truck race Friday thinking the same thing. There's got to be a yellow, and it just didn't come at all. And it would have been a game changer for a lot of them. But I guess, Kyle Busch, I have beef with Kyle Busch, not because he's fast or not because the season he had. I just think he's got a shitty attitude. In a sport that's clinging for viewership right now, to have a jackass like that out there up in front of everybody, insulting media, insulting the other drivers, insulting his own team and crew. disgusts me. So any of you Kyle Busch lovers, feel free to send me some hate mail. I'm okay with it. But I mean, I think it's a shame when the sport needs somebody more like Jimmy Johnson. I'm not a Jimmy Johnson fan, but he carried himself with class at every turn. You know,
He was the most boring champion in the history of NASCAR.
I'll give you that, but he wasn't rude. You know,
no, but the new format was built because of Jimmy Johnson, because of Matt Kenseth, because of guys that don't give you that dynamic soundbite. And I think they're awesome, but they don't provide the spark and the sizzle that the sport wanted out of them.
You know, I've always been the anti-wrestling type guy. You know me, I've always said we got to keep it authentic, and thankfully our stuff on Fridays is super authentic. We don't need to fabricate any of that stuff. But I think I could tolerate him more if I knew he was just playing a hero. But the guy's just a jackass.
How do you know he's not?
I don't know. Hey, did you see the video of pre-race of his kid and the wife? I'm gonna just leave it there. I'll send it to you offline. It was, I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about man, I just had something on my tongue I want to talk about, and I forgot what it was. So we're still trying to get Scott Simmons online. Still waiting for Alex Nagy to join us. They've kind of left us hanging at him. We're going to talk.
Oh no, Alex!
About a few things with them guys. Just as I said, they left us hanging. We get Alex. So Alex, bring him on, and we'll talk to him here if he can hear us.
Let's ask Alex about Kyle Busch, because once upon a time, Alex Nagy was a race car driver, and he had corporate backing in the CASCAR days. And I don't remember him ever being like Kyle Busch over the PA, but in private, Alex Nagy can shoot daggers right through your heart with the words he chooses to use. So, Alex, how come you weren't the vocal mastermind when you were a race car driver that you are now that you're a track general manager? Oh, someone wake Alex up. I think he's on surveillance out here.
He's working security duty out at the Speedway.
No doubt.
All right, well, Spencer, get back to work on that one too. So, big changes here in Ontario this week.
Yes.
Changing dates, some of the tracks.
Totally hard to believe, but Delaware Speedway has put out a schedule where they're racing Saturday nights. They're racing up against the APC series. So Delaware Speedway, that has forever been the Friday night track, as long as I can remember in southwestern Ontario, has now gone to Saturdays. Grand Bend, under the guidance of Gord Bennett, has moved to Friday nights. And of course, Oshweekend will still be Friday nights, as it has been.
Yeah, so your thoughts on Delaware moving to Saturday, Adam? Does that help their guys? What was behind that decision? What are you hearing?
What I had heard through the grapevine is that there was a vote taken among the teams to say, hey, who would be open to changing? And the majority wanted things left the same. They wanted to race on Friday nights. But Russ Erlin, I believe it was Russ's decision. He decided to move things to Saturday and shake things up. And I mean, it's obvious. Here's where the challenge lies. Delaware Speedway was the place to be in the 1980s, the 1990s on a Friday night. It hasn't been that way for a little while, Clinton. So would you rule out any change? Is there anything you would not do to bring the track back to its glory days?
No, I mean, you have to do whatever it takes. And if you think that's going to get your fan count back up, get your racers back where they need to be, it is definitely causing some ripples out there. If you follow the social media racing scene here in Ontario, they're talking, there were a various number of teams that ran Delaware full-time. And I see John Carley just commented that they ran Delaware and the APC. So now they're going to be forced to choose. It's been similar to kind of what's gone on with some of the Jukasa races. Now Jukasa's back. Some of the guys had to choose here and there what they wanted to do. I guess the guys who want to race the tour are going to race the tour. In some circles, they'll feel like these best guys maybe having to take a night off to go race APC and give another guy a shot at the championship may work out. I mean, we saw that happen at Merrittville. Matt Williamson, he was dominating the season at Merrittville, decided to go race a Centennial race at Orange County Fair and basically gave up the championship.
See, and I haven't seen what the points funds are for any of the tracks. So, I mean, I don't know what these drivers are giving up to go and race APC or not. Mike Carra asked what our thoughts are on new rules with APC. And I've got to say, I'm concerned about late model racing. I'm concerned about some of the stuff I see from these bodies. I'm concerned there's not enough people out there trying to control costs on these race cars because the costs are getting out of control. And I'm not pointing to APC saying this is your problem. I just, there are things that have been done on the asphalt side of racing that really make me scratch my head.
Well, someone also brings up now, like what happens when Jacas has their big events. Delaware's fans are now forced to choose between do they want to go to the big event at Jacasa or do they want to stick at their home track on Saturdays. I mean, look what we do at Oshweekend. We tend to book, other than the Nationals, our big summer event, we purposely book on a Monday, Tuesday because we have what I've been calling race pressure, and there's no race pressure from us, from the other speedways, but also no race pressure on the fans who are fighting for their dollars. Well, they're having to choose where they want to spend their money. Hopefully they just say, hey, there's nothing going on Monday, Tuesday. We can go. And then I know, like, in the early years of the Outlaws at Oshweekend Speedway, we'd have it on a Friday, Saturday. But then, the Ransomville guys were forced to pick whether they were going to come. The Merrittville guys couldn't come. The Flamborough guys, nobody's going to give up their points, to just come to a big race. So it works for us Monday, Tuesday anyways.
There's one thing I would want to do moving forward. Let's put Alex Nagy on the spot, in fact, because it's fun. We understand. We think we have Alex on the line. Let's try one more time. There he is, the Alex Nagy steering wheel cam. Alex, can you hear us?
This is like deja vu from 10 minutes ago.
I think he's messing with us. There we go. That's the best Alex has looked in ages.
Is it Freaky Friday? Alex, are you there? No, maybe not.
So this is tonight is the Clinton Adams show.
For Jacasa.
Okay, so here's what we want to do, and people can chime in. People can feel free to comment. What was the point? What was the reason they allowed engine builders to open up crate engines in a crate engine class? What advantage, what positive did that bring to race teams? And Clint, if you have the answer to this, you let me know.
I see none. The only justification I could see or reason for it would be that since the day the 602 crate came out, it has been said the seals can be tampered with. They can be replaced. You can buy them on the black market. So maybe the feeling was if the seals weren't to be believed, they would let them do what they want in an effort to say, let's open them up. And I've often said that, like, not only is it screwed up on the asphalt side, the dirt sportsman 602 crate program is totally busted. It's broken.
Yeah.
When you need a $12,000 US motor to race in a class that is supposed to have a $4,000 Canadian motor, it's wrong.
What I don't understand, Clint, it could have been so easily solved with a claim rule.
No.
I just don't. Totally. Claim rule and stiff penalties. Remember when they used to throw people out for a year? Claim rule's a great plan.
When have you seen it work? Give me a series in the last 20 years where it works, where it's actually not that they just have the rule in place, but that it's actually actively being used to police the series.
I thought IMCA
okay, right now, Adam Ross thought is where we're
Listen,
starting with the statement.
I got to tell you right now, if Adam Ross ran racing, the claim rule would be the price of a brand new engine, and I would have a brand new engine sitting on the shop floor.
That's not a bad plan, but the claim
That's
rule
the claim
tends
rule.
to.
So the driver that's losing that engine, right, is going to get that brand new motor. Now,
I'm not
I
against
would
it.
inspect that engine, and if it's illegal, they're not getting that brand new motor. They can have their cheater motor back
So here's where we are.
and throw them out for a year.
You know, I guess it's probably a different problem with dirt because it's so far spread far and wide, the division. But at Ohsweken Speedway, we only took our 3 builders and only let them seal the motors so we can keep them. And if we find one of their motors, they just can't build motors, and your track has to have your car has to have the seals on to be able to race. So that's how we did it with the crates, and it seemed to have worked up well. But it really concerns me, Adam. The crates are a great idea, but I have often said, maybe take the seals off if we're just not going to inspect them and just pretend that everything's okay. There's been a lot of good tech that's gone on to keep policing them, but yeah, I agree. How do you put that cow back in the barn, Adam?
Well, which one exactly? And I was listening. I just
How do
want
you
to
get
make
the
sure I'm
crates back in line?
You start fresh. Because if a team cheated up their crate and spent lots of money, screw them. I'm not worried about their $10,000. Go screw yourself. We're going to go back to a baseline where you can get support. There has to be a business model. And you know what? People complained at times when the Bicknell family ran a racetrack, Clinton, but they did a great job of policing rules. They did a great job. They thought outside the box. They had chassis dynos. There were things going on where the perception was rules were being followed. And I can tell you, in New York State, in the sportsman division, it is a massive cluster.
Yes, it is. And that's the problem is, look at how many cars they have to police. But I think you got to get it back in line somehow. And, the engine builders have got their claws back into the deal now, where they're buying a $4,000 motor and selling it out the door for another $8,000 on top of that. Something smells in that situation.
Oh, it's
what I mean?
And who's winning? Who is winning? The engine builders.
Yeah.
There are people who build engines in this industry who I think are lovely people. But I still, to this day, have not seen very many engine people reinvest in motorsports the way I see chassis builders, the way I see tire suppliers. I just haven't seen it. I'm not picking on them.
Shock guys spend a lot of money too. I'm with you there, Adam. I was going to say, a lot of people bag on the tire rules or spec tire rules, but I mean, one of our biggest contributors at the Ohsweken Banquet coming back this week is going to be Hoosier Tire for the money that they give us per race, per event, per car in our tire deal with Hoosier Tire at Ohsweken Speedway and the Action Sprint Tour. So, that's a huge thing. Our partnership with Hoosier Tire is big, and we're looking to expand it to the micro sprints. Quickly on that topic, Ohsweken Banquet is this Friday night at Carmen's. 598 tickets sold, Adam. How crazy is that? First off, nearly 600 people come to the Ohsweken Banquet this Friday.
Yeah, but why would so many people come when you give away the stream for free?
Well, we haven't told them that part yet.
You're giving it away for free. You did it. You did it last year. You can't not do it this year.
I almost didn't do it. I said, Spencer, we'll just put it up the next day. And he said, it's not that big of a difference. Let's just do it live. So this Friday, live at 7:30. If you're not one of the 600 or so people who will be celebrating with us, make sure you tune in live. We won't be having the races live Friday. We'll be showing the banquet live. So make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and check out the Ohsweken Speedway Banquet live Friday at 7:30. The awards are going to kick off at 8, and maybe a little bit earlier. We're going to have some fun, and we'll do it up. The other thing I want to mention is the Ohsweken Speedway Glenn Steyer's Racing Christmas auction is still looking for donations of crashed up parts and the things we've seen on our guest wall, like Stephen Ovens had the door of the Doctor and Matt Shepard today. Any type of racing parts and pieces you've got goes to a great cause, ladies and gentlemen. So if you've got any parts and pieces off your car, ladies and gentlemen, drivers, racers, anything like that, contact Kevin Miller, Nitro Man, on Facebook, or contact me or Adam. We'll get you in touch with it. It's a great cause, Adam, and I'm throwing down the challenge to the Ohsweken family. Merrittville guys have stepped up. Kevin told me today the Ohsweken guys need to pick up their game a bit. I'm saying that. Kevin didn't say that, but he did say the Merrittville guys have contributed a ton of things to the auction already. So Ohsweken, I'm putting the call out to our teams. Get some parts, get some pieces out, whatever you want to give. I mean, even an old pair of driving gloves, fans will buy it, they'll bid on it. It's auctioned off over Facebook. Then the race team goes to the usually Weekend Toys in Ohsweken, buys a ton of great gifts for the underprivileged. So if you can check them out, help them out. That's the Glenn Stiers Racing Christmas auction. It's going to kick off starting Sunday, taking bids. So you got 1 week to get your stuff over to Kevin.
What race is on the track right now? Is that a heat race, or are we into the alphabet soup? Because I'm looking at Alex Bergeron, Ryan Beagle. There are some big names in this main. I don't know if this is C main or B main or D main, but
let's jump over there, Spence.
Taking a peek down to the inside. Bergeron takes the 2 spot away from Waugh, and now he'll take it back right along that concrete barrier on the inside of the racetrack, and he'll battle with the big dog into turn number 1. So Bergeron, the world champion, taking a peek on the inside of the big dog. Big dog trying to keep Bergeron in the doghouse there off turn number 4. As Bergeron gets up alongside, but Beagle's got the ponies into the corner. And he got a great run off at turn number 2. Great battle for the lead up front here as Ryan Beagle in the Glenn Stiers Racing Team, number 84. Beagle, they call him the big dog, out of Victoria, Ontario. Thunderstock racer in his own right up at the Ohsweken Speedway on Friday nights. Check them out this summer if you've never been up to the Big O. 2 laps to go, popsicle sticks in the air from Dave Farney that time, and here comes Bergeron down to the inside, and you got a new race leader into turn number 3. Beagle trying to stick right on the right rear tire, but Bergeron's got the spot here at the white flag. So Bergeron, who started 7th out of 8 cars in the C main, wins the C main. He starts 11th in the B main, and Bergeron will win the B main to transfer to tonight's A main. Alex Bergeron gets the win.
Because he said the big dog like 8 times in that broadcast, and I gotta say, every time Greg Callan says the big dog and you woof, it makes me piss my pants in the infield. I love that aspect of you guys. I can't. Every time he says big dog, it makes me think, waiting for you to bark. The other thing, how cool is that for our guy Ryan Beagle, gets sponsored by Glenn Stiers Racing and the online deal, taking on the iRacing world champion who just got paid out something like $15,200 at the World Finals for being the World of Outlaws champion. That is so cool. Alex Bergeron came. I know you were concerned with him coming in, but just like anything in any live racing outdoor deal, you want to race with the best. You want to be the best. You got to beat the best, as they say. And Alex is making these guys pick up their game. But the big dog looked pretty good there, holding off the world champion for a few laps.
And I'll tell you, he's a great driver. I'm going to brag a little bit. Connor Ross looks like he qualified into the A main event with a 6th place finish. I mean, right behind Troy Wagaman. That's the beauty of iRacing. You've got real race car drivers who get out there and risk their lives. You've got iRacing professionals, and then you've got guys like Ryan Beagle, Connor Ross, Rick Scott, a whole mishmash of others who are out there competing with the best of the best. And I mean, that's what the draw is. That's what makes it so much fun. And next week we will be able to make bets on those drivers. So make sure you get into Victory Games. The pairings are up. The race next week is at Lanier. So it is anyone's game. I feel terrible tonight for Alex Nagy and for Scott Simmons. They both tried to get in. We're going to have to figure out what's going on there, Clinton. We've had that happen a little bit more than we like to see, because we do have people wanting to come on the show, and we definitely don't want to dissuade them from being with us more often.
No, and I mean it's a new system for them too to have to figure out how to get their phones to work in with our network system, and we work on that. Just want to mention a couple of more of our sponsors before we get off the air and transfer over to Stephen Ovens and the Rivalz Elite Pro A main coming up. JibsActionSports.com. Don't forget, Christmas is coming, everybody. Get the kids out being active. Get them off the video games. And Jibs has been killing it since 2010. They're Canada's source for the best scooters, BMX bikes, and skateboards. They have an amazing selection of scooter parts, BMX parts, and apparel, along with accessories. You can shop online at JibsActionSports.com or visit their store in Burlington, Ontario, and browse the best selection of trick scooters at Jibs, Canada's favorite scooter shop. That's JibsActionSports.com. Check it out for Christmas. If you've never done it, just go on their website. And for me, I get to relive it. I actually have a Jibs Saturday night special BMX bike that I'm very proud of. And like I've mentioned before on the show, I know it's cool because when I go riding with my 12-year-old, the other 13-year-old kids at 7, I'm like, cool bike, old guy. So it's fun to get out there with the kids and have a good time on my Jibs Saturday night special. So check it out. And Adam, you know what? One thing I was talking to Mark about, they're rebounding. Fortnite absolutely kicked that industry's ass a year and a half ago. All the kids were logged on Fortnite. Mark was one of the bigger ones, and then Jim was able to stick it out through the tsunami of Fortnite. But he took down a lot of Mark's competitors, and Mark had the buying power to stick with it. So awesome to see Mark and his crew do a great job through Jibs. And just go on their website, JibsActionSports.com. Lots of great stuff to check out.
Mike Mallet just sent me a note basically apologizing, saying if I'd known there were going to be these technical troubles, I would have come on and worked with you guys. The other thing I want to point out about Ryan Beagle versus Alex Bergeron, Bergeron has every technical advantage you can possibly have in an iRacing rig. The best of the best. Ryan Beagle sits at his kitchen table in a kitchen chair with a wheel strapped to it, and that's how he races his sprint car. So you were basically seeing the Beverly Hillbillies versus Ferrari there.
Doing a great job. Ford versus Ferrari. I can't wait to see that movie. My last read for the night, guys. Guaranteed prize, guaranteed fun, and more ways to win at Six Nations Bingo. Whether you're looking for a new experience or you're a bingo fanatic, Six Nations Bingo has the preferred choice for players for over 20 years. It's easily accessible just off Highway 54 between Brantford and Caledonia, and they offer the largest and friendliest bingo hall in the region. Join them for many of their big events and holiday specials where you can win even more prizes. Six Nations Bingo, 2585 Cheesewood Road, just about 2 kilometers or 1 mile north of Ohsweken Speedway on Cheesewood Road. Get them online, sixnationsbingo.ca. Adam, another good week as we get to it, and I'm actually sad because with the end of NASCAR season, it officially ends outdoor racing season here in North America for most of us. And
no, it doesn't.
No?
Mike Mallett's going to be on next Tuesday. He's going to preview the Gobbler. The Gobbler at Akron Speedway.
And man,
then indoor season.
Yes. So we have outdoor season and indoor season. What are we calling iRacing season? Virtual season?
We have to come up with terms for that. You silly wabbit. This was fun, even though it was just you and me. I mean, not even though, but I really apologize to Scott Simmons and Alex Nagy and to the people who tuned in wanting to hear from them. We're going to try to get some high-profile guests, and when we do, we're going to have to make sure we got our stuff together, and they've got their stuff together so we can bring our fans the show they deserve. But we'll get there.
Some of the names we've been kicking around for upcoming shows include Christopher Bell, Stuart Friesen, and Rico Abreu. We've spoke to them in the past, so we'll work on drumming them up now that their outdoor seasons are over, and hopefully we can drag them into a Rivalz Elite Pro race night. That's all from our control center. Thanks to Spencer Mullen for everything he does. We'll turn it over to Brad Ovens with the production and Steve Ovens with the call of the Rivalz Elite Pro event coming from Volusia tonight. And hey, Adam, did you hear Steve say we had Dave Farney flagging tonight? I didn't know we had Senior Silk up there working for us. Is that going to come out of our budget now?
Your budget. Don't say ours. You're the bill payer.
Well, he brought him in, so Steve can pay for Farney. All right, we'll turn over to them. Here we go. Next thing you know, we're going to have to pay Doug Leonard. See you guys. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the races. It's the Rivalz Elite Pro A main. It's going to be worth your money. If you did not catch it a couple minutes ago, Alex Bergeron came from the back of the C, the back of the B, and he's starting at the back of the A. the world champion, getting ready to take on the Rivalz Elite Pro contenders. Steve Ovens with the call.
And then your B main cars, Alex Bergeron and Ryan Beagle will make up row 9. Row 10 is Stephen Waugh and Chris Steele. Row 11, Troy Wagaman Jr. and Connor Ross. And your final starting row will be the 72 of Kyle Moon and the 29 of Bryce Bailey. Field working their way down the front straightaway, getting ready to go racing here with tonight's Rivalz Elite Pro
boys,
Series
here we
A
go.
main.
When you guys get going here, let's give each other some room going into 1, coming out 2. No squirreling.
One of
No
my
washboarding.
mentors
Keep
in
it
the
nice
dirt
and
track
easy.
announcing
Throttle
game, Gary
control's your friend,
Montgomery, at this
remember.
portion
Alright,
of the
guys, here we
racing
go.
program
Nuts,
would
butts. Go
always
nice
say,
tight.
race fans, it's time to sit down and hold on to your seats because these men, by the grace of God, iRacing at 800 horsepower, are ready to go to work. Week number 5, 30 laps the distance for the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. Lap number 1 goes on the board as we've got a great start to this event. Peyton Grease, the Shark, currently leads them down the back straightaway. Keith Jackson, what a run here for Keith Jackson these last couple of nights. Jackson takes it to the top side off of turn number 4, trying to get the lead. Couldn't make it happen that time. Kevin Lovey's currently in the top 5. Lovey's, who started in position number 5, currently runs in position number 5 as he tucks into line off turn number 4. Lovey's, who had a great start to his night here, as we've got a battle for the lead one more time. Keith Jackson going after Peyton Grease. KJ up to the top, the Shark down to the bottom. And right now it's the Shark chomping down low all the way around this racetrack, taking the short way around. Jackson saw what Bergeron did in tonight's B main, and that's currently what he's doing. Speaking of Bergeron, Bergeron started 17th. He's currently up to 10th. Let's slide back there and see if we can maybe ride on board with Bergeron as he claws his way through the field. Bergeron taking it down the back straightaway, racing alongside his teammate Jason Nygaard as they bring it through turns 3 and 4. Yellow lights are on for the first time of the night. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Here on number 6. So 6 laps on the board here before we get our first yellow flag of the night. And the call from the race director coming over the radio that the drivers need to give each other a little bit cleaner, as we had some hard racing in the back of the pack. So Brad's got a replay of it for us here as they come down the front straightaway and into turn number 1. We're going to ride, oh, yeah, one car sideways and a couple more collect in there. And a tough break for Ryan Beagle. So Ryan Beagle, who started tonight in position number 18, currently 23rd, as he sits on the pit lane for repairs. Tough break for the big dog there tonight, as I believe we'll get the white flag this next time by. So Peyton Grease currently with the lead. Keith Jackson running in position number 2. Ernie Williams, Kyle Stoltz is going to make up that second row. Kevin Hanley, Kevin Lovey's will make up row number 3, as Lovey's fell back a spot to position number 6. Then we've got Alan Downey and Dakota Kuhn will make up row number 4, and row number 5 here for the restart. The teammates, Team ABR, Jason Nygaard, Alex Bergeron. As the field works through turns 3 and 4, the Shark will control the restart here off of turn number 4. Strickland GM Pace Truck pulls off the racetrack, and we're back to green flag racing into turn number 1. Jackson immediately goes back to the outside lane, trying to get a run. here on Peyton Grease into turn number 1. Through 3 and 4 they ride. Grease will continue to lead at the line, but here comes Jackson. Battle for the lead into turns 1 and 2. Jackson keeps it on the cushion off turn 2. New race leader into turn 3. It's Keith Jackson by a front wing. But Grease back down to the inside will reclaim the spot at the line. So Jackson with the lead momentarily could not hold it. Meanwhile, running in position number 7 is Alex Bergeron. Bergeron started 17th. He's up to the 7th spot here on lap number 12. So 12 in and 18 to go. And the Team Alex Bergeron racing cars starting to claw their way to the top of the field. Here comes your points leader, Nygaard, up to the outside. Nygaard will take over the 4th spot off turn number 4. Oh, and we got one car sideways. That was Lovey's. Lovey's side's on the front straightaway. Meanwhile, up ahead of him, Jason Nygaard's taken over the 4th spot. Now working on Kevin Hanley here for 3rd. Hanley just behind Keith Jackson in the 13, but look at Nygaard getting that run on the top side. Meanwhile, here comes his teammate, Alex Bergeron, down to the inside. They work around the lap car through turns 3 and 4. Look at this, racing from 2nd on back, my goodness. 3 wide back there for the 5th spot. As Bergeron and Nygaard will one more time do battle for 4th into turn number 3. Grease has the lead. Jackson up on the top side, holds on to 2nd. Bergeron's up to 3rd. Alex Bergeron all the way from the C main tonight. Started 17th in the A main, currently up to 2nd into turn number 3. So Bergeron clawing, digging, and fighting down to the inside as Keith Jackson is not going to let him go that quick. As Jackson really with a handful of steering wheel off turn number 2. Bergeron gets a nice run off turn 2, and look at Nygaard go right through the middle. Nygaard couldn't make the middle work that time in turn 4. As Peyton Grease is losing ground to 2nd place, Alex Bergeron. Bergeron down to the inside. He found the brown down low. But Grease will block the effort into turn number 3. So Grease, the Shark, holds on to the lead here on lap number 19. 11 to go. Bergeron is up to 2nd and on the prowl. Here comes Nygaard, the points leader. Takes away the 3 spot from Jackson as Jackson is now settled into that lower lane off turn number 4. Nygaard takes the spot at the line, and he is right along that guardrail as Hanley works on Jackson there for position. Bergeron trying to find a way around Peyton Grease. Bergeron getting a nice bite off of turn number 4, and that's a battle for the lead into turn 1. The Shark down low. Bergeron trying to go just a little bit lower off turn 2. New race leader into turn 3. It's Alex Bergeron. Lap 22 goes on the board. Yellow lights are on, and you've got a new race leader. 22 laps from 17th to the lead. Here at the Volusia Speedway Park, yellow lights are on for the 2nd time here tonight. Brad Ovens going to dial up a replay for us here as we had an intense battle for the lead. And Kyle Stoltz getting involved in that one, slid up the racetrack, caught the guardrail, and on his side he went. So field pacing here under the yellow. So we're going to have just about a handful of laps to go. When we go back to green, I'm thinking we're probably going to have about 4 or 5 laps left under the green flag when they come to the line to take the green. Don't forget, post-race, we will hear from the top 3 finishers in victory lane here tonight. So stick around after the races to hear from your top 3 finishers as they'll tell us all about their night, where they started, where they came from, how their car was, and of course all those sponsor mentions and friend thank yous for all their teams and all their effort to get all these cars here tonight. All right, here we go. Double file restart. This time off turn number 4. There will be 5 laps to go when they take the green. And I got to tell you, Peyton Grease has been really tough on these restarts. Bergeron, I think, has the preferred line on the bottom, but we'll see what the Shark has for him. If he can hold pace with him here on the restart. Strickland GM pace truck pulls off the racetrack in turn 4. Green lights are back on. 5 laps to go here in the Rivalz Elite Pro Series week number 5. Jason Nygaard battling with Grease for position number 2. Ernie Williams Jr. right now running in the spot. He's going after Nygaard for 3rd. 4 laps to go for Alex Bergeron as he leads them down the back straightaway. Nygaard takes over the 2 spot from Grease, but Grease right back down to the inside lane. Bergeron starting to open up the gap a little bit from 1st to 2nd. That last time across the line, 0.6 of a second was the lead. The battle is for 2nd right now as Nygaard puts the right rear up along the guardrail as they battle for the 2 spot. 2 laps to go that time by. Now we're coming to the white flag. Nygaard continues to battle with Grease for the 2nd spot, but here's Alex Bergeron. White flag is in the air for Alex Bergeron. The driver out of Drummondville, Quebec, Canada, driving for Team Alex Bergeron Racing. The Pit Logic, CSI Shocks, BK Designs number 12, 2 in a row for Team ABR. Alex Bergeron wins. 2nd across the line, and it'll be a Team ABR sweep as Jason Nygaard nails down the 2 spot. Peyton Grease started on the hammer. He'll finish on the podium tonight. Ernie Williams Jr. and Dakota Kuhn will round out tonight's top 5. 6 through 10 tonight is Kevin Hanley, Troy Wagaman Jr., Keith Jackson, Cody Hartlob, and Kevin Lovies. Finishing out the running order tonight, finishing 11th is Alan Downey, 12th Jim Smith. A great run there for Jim Smith out of Seneca Falls. Stephen Watt 13th, Larry Moody 14th, GT Smith out of Tampa Bay, Florida will finish 15th tonight. 16th through 20th was Kyle Moonen, Stephen Goldner, Chris Steele, Connor Ross, and Bryce Bailey. And rounding out the field tonight was David Flick, Shane Pierce, Kyle Stoltz, and Ryan Beagle. We will get ready to head down trackside to Victory Lane to talk to your top 3 finishers. And let's go ahead and start things off here. We're going to talk with your 3rd place finisher. They call him the Shark, and the Shark starts from the pole position. Peyton, great job tonight finishing on the podium in 3rd. I know you'd like to get the win tonight. Tell us about your run.
Starting up front, is good and all, but anytime Bergeron is in the field, he can start last, and you just know he's going to come forward. So I was able to keep clean up there, and then about lap 16, I did something I shouldn't have. Looked down my relative, saw he was 2nd charging, so started driving the car a little harder and starting to kind of spin coming off 2 and kind of lose momentum there, and he was able to get around me right for that caution. So but it was a good run.
It definitely was. Your car was, really good on the bottom side of the racetrack, and it didn't look like he even had enough room to fit through there on the back straightaway, but he was able to find just enough moisture on the bottom down the back straightaway to make that move. Walk us through that.
Yeah, I heard him on my left rear, and then I was kind of running low there, and then I was like, well, I kept hearing him. Then I saw him. I'm like, wow, he's really low. And into 3, I knew I couldn't really enter there, so I had to enter the kind of lane up and just let him kind of go and just manage. I was hoping to manage 2nd there, but then Nygaard was able to sneak by me there at the line there.
Solid 3rd place run for you. Talk to us about your efforts, any team you might be on, or any sponsors you want to thank here.
Like my thank 92 PGR guys over there helped me out a lot. Got to thank Kier Speed Shop, Ted's Brown Quality Paint and Body Shop, cardio's okay, and just Rivals League for putting on the show, and you guys for broadcasting, and everybody watching.
Well, there you have it. The Shark comes home in position number 3 here tonight. A solid effort for him to nail down a podium finish here tonight. And coming up next year, we're going to talk to your second place finisher, Jason Nygaard, who comes into the night as the points leader. And Jason, what a solid run for you tonight. Going to extend that points lead after the run here tonight.
Oh, it was a great run tonight. Great racing, great track. I absolutely love this track. Yeah, because you can run the bottom and if you can find and if you can nail the high side, it's just as fast too.
It seemed like that was your preferred groove tonight, was trying to run that outside line. You stuck to that seemingly all night long. That car looked really well on the top side. Was it hard to try and keep that momentum up? You know, those guys running the bottom, they would get a pretty good run off the corner, but boy, you could really run it deep into the corner.
I was just focusing on hitting my marks, and if I pass somebody, I pass somebody. That car when it was absolutely on rails tonight on the high side, and it was a very fun race.
Now, you've had a really successful season here so far. And, you know, anytime that we've interviewed Alex this season, he's talked about how much time and effort that you've been spending to contribute to this team. How much time and effort has gone in here this year?
It I've made iRacing is basically it's a second job to me. I mean, it if I'm at home, I'm on this testing stuff, turning laps, trying new stuff, and it's like I take it about as serious as a lot of the real guys do in real life.
You know, you talk to a lot of guys that have success here on the iRacing platform, and it's not a matter, Jason, of having hundreds of laps. It's a matter of getting out here, practicing, and putting in thousands of laps to really fine tune these setups on these cars.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can run like you can have you can have a setup for tacky, and once the track gets slick, it goes away. Then you gotta know what to change because it's completely different than versus real life.
And what people may not realize is there is a ton of fine tuning. I mean, it's not just, you know, picking a setup out of the simulator and throwing it in there. There are so many things that you can fine tune on these cars that, you know, it's as much of a simulation as you're going to get.
Yeah, you'd have to ask Alex how it compares to real life setups, but it's it's a lot easier to tune these on here because it's just mouse clicks, but it is so in depth.
Well, man, great job here tonight. Going to extend that points lead, and we'll see how things fare out. We go to Lanier next weekend. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Alex for his run tonight and all the support that he gives me and I give him. I mean, we race each other as hard as we can, and I think it keeps pushing us to be better and better. All my sponsors on the car, the Pit Logic app, CSI Shocks, Next Gen Fab, you guys for broadcasting, Ri- uh, Rivals Racing League, Ishwegan Speedway for putting this on, and everybody else for watching.
Well, there's Jason Nygaard, a solid second place run here tonight aboard car number 22. And now we're going to bring in tonight's winner of 2 in a row and winner of 3 of the first 5 weeks here of the Rivals Elite Pro Series. Alex Bergeron, congratulations, my man. And I'll tell you, tonight was no easy feat for you to pick up the win.
Yeah, absolutely not. We had issues in the heat race. We qualified very good. Car was on fire, and we just had bad luck in the heat race. So, we looked the positive out of that, and made sure we passed as many cars as possible tonight, and we made that happen. I think we got the R Charger award tonight. And I don't know if there's one, but I guess we passed the most cars tonight. But coming from the C main and to win the feature is quite awesome.
Well, let's just put it this way. I think the competition tonight is probably very thankful that we don't award points based on passing points instead of just a standard point system, because you passed a ton of cars tonight. But Alex, I think your race tonight just goes to show that whether you are at your dirt track over the summer, your favorite dirt track over the summer, or here with the simulation, things can, racing deals, racing incidents happen just like they do during the summertime, but it's how you bounce back from those, little events of adversity that really show the true grit of your team.
Absolutely. When you get in bad lucks, what makes you better after that is how much you come back and how hard you come back. And it's all about who you're surrounded with, with our team. And it's just everybody supports each other. And I think it's a great environment. And it's very good. Everybody supports each other, like I said. And from incidents like this, we don't want to see this either in iRacing in real life. So especially in real life, it's a lot of money and a lot of time to work on. So, but you gotta stay strong and keep your head up and bounce back just like tonight.
Now tell us about the pass for the lead tonight, because you got to second, but Peyton Grease really made it tough for you tonight trying to get the lead. He was running such a good line on the bottom. How did you find a way by?
Yeah, I ran wherever you didn't run, so that's the key to success. It was fun running with him tonight. He's running up front the last couple of weeks, so that's cool to see. But I just coming to him, I ran behind him the last couple of laps and during the mid race, and he was running the bottom pretty good, and I was running the bottom pretty good too. So I had to make a choice and either risk it or finish second. So run the middle, and I found something in 1 and 2, and the car would just be good, and I undercut him out of 2 and made the move in the moisture. And since then, after that, the caution came out, and so we had to have time to breathe a little bit, and went back at it. And Jason, he had the chance to get in second there in the last corner. So very proud of him and this whole team.
Absolutely. You mentioned him. I think what is so interesting about your team tonight is you were on fire down on the bottom lane, but Jason was just as good on the top lane. That just shows how strong this team is right now.
Oh, absolutely. We work so hard on this, and it goes both ways. On each other, we put as much work, and I think that's what makes this team one of the top teams on iRacing. And it's not just about luck, and it's just a lot about you put work. And even like tonight, we had bad luck, but we came back at it and had a good result. So that's what it's all about, and there's a lot more to come for this team.
Alex, great job tonight. Tell us about some of the folks that helped make it happen for you.
Well, definitely all the Team ABR, the whole crew, the small crew, but the whole crew. Jason, my girlfriend, and myself, all the supporters we have, CSI Shocks, Pit Logic app, who makes this possible for this season to be in the series. And we also helps us out, go around the racetrack. BK Designs for all the iRacing paints, Myring Farm Equipment, all Jason sponsors, everybody else for watching tonight, all the fans out there, my dad for always tuning in. You guys for doing an awesome job on the broadcast, and Rivalz Racing League for putting this entire series possible for drivers, and makes us have fun on Tuesday night.
Well, there he is. Alex Bergeron picks up win number 3 on the season and picks up 2 in a row here at the Volusia Speedway Park. And folks, that is going to do it for tonight's coverage. I want to congratulate all of our top 3 finishers here tonight. And a big shout out to Alex Bergeron, who now makes it 3 of 5 to start the first quarter of the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. here for 2019-2020. On behalf of everybody here with the Rivalz Racing League, be sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rivalz Racing. Of course, that's Rivalz with a Z, facebook.com/Rivalz Racing. You can also visit us on the worldwide interwebs at www.rivalzracingleague.com. Again, that's Rivalz with a Z, rivalzracingleague.com. Well, on behalf of Adam Ross, Clinton Jeffrey, and the entire cast here at the Rivalz Racing League, my name is Steve Ovens, and on behalf of our executive producer, Brad Ovens, in the 3-9 streaming studios, we want to thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday night, just after 9 o'clock, from the Lanier Dirt Track, and we will have an exciting show for you. Be sure to check out all of the Shweekin Outlaws Racing League as well. Check out the whole ladder system here in the Rivalz Racing League. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.